Last time, we started on a brand new world, including building a starter house in this little village. But today, we're going to be figuring out our andesite situation that we need for all of our create mod contraptions. So, it's time to build ourselves a mineshaft, including a working elevator. Yes, welcome back everyone. Really, the first thing we need to do to solve this is to actually make ourselves a nature's compass. That way we can find an andesite cave to actually start our mineshaft. Hopefully it's not too far away. Now to make ourselves a nature's compass, we need some logs, some saplings, and a compass, which did involve me getting some redstone from the caves. And luckily for me, I also ended up finding some diamonds too, so I'll probably actually make a pick using that. But we'll make our compass first. And then once I grab some logs, we can make our nature's compass. And the nature's compass kind of just brings up this little biome selector. So if we do andesite caves, it will now tell us where the nearest andesite caves are. And they're only 500 blocks away, so actually that's pretty close. Thank God. I don't have to go as far as I thought I'd have to. But let's head off in this direction, figure out where we're going to need to place our mineshaft. And it looks like it's somewhere in this jungle. You know what? Because I do actually want easy access to this mineshaft from where the river is, I think I'm going to more or less kind of just dig into a little bit of the cliff here and aim straight downwards. Because although the compass is pointing about 100 blocks away, I imagine the caves are actually quite big and it's probably around about the center of the biome. So we'll definitely head down this way, and I'm already seeing some, so that's a good sign. And well, yeah, it's pretty clear that this entire area is andesite caves, which is good. And we didn't actually have to even dig that far down to find it. So what I'm going to do is actually head up a little bit. And I think this is actually where I'm going to be placing in my mineshaft. So I'm just going to spiral all the way down because I do want this to be more than just an andesite mine. I do want to be able to reach the bottom of the world as well for things like lava and such. And as I've been making my way down to the bottom of the world here, I have noticed on my mini-map that there is an absolutely massive lava cave over here. This honestly might actually be big enough for an infinite lava source. And yep, that's a large source. We'll definitely have to find the deepest point of this at some point and see if we can make this an infinite source. But this will be a great stop for our elevator, I think. Obviously, it's not quite next to it, but we can make a path to it properly once the actual elevator is up and running. And that's the nice thing about the elevators, you can have multiple different floors that you can select from. So we can have one going down to our andesite and one down to our lava as well. In fact, actually, you know what? Let me go back down here real quick because I'm suddenly realizing that I should probably actually grab a few buckets of lava here, because that's probably going to be quite useful for us. And I'm just going to dig around the corner a little bit so I don't mess up the lovely looking lava. There we go. And I also should probably bring a bucket of water down here because I do need to get some obsidian so that we can actually go to the nether, because I need to go there to actually make ourselves some brass, which is what we need to make our elevator shaft in the first place. Did find a little bit of a pool of lava here, so let's cover that with water and get some obsidian out of it. And now I need to make myself a flint and steel and throw down another portal somewhere. This is probably not going to be permanent. I'm not too worried where it goes at the moment. So let's just stick it back here for now. And obviously we can light it up. But before I go in there, I need to make something real quick. And that thing is a empty blaze burner. I can't actually make it just yet because I don't have any netherrack, but I do need 4 iron sheets. So we can just throw these all onto our press here real quick. There we go. And the reason why we need this is so we can get our empty blaze burner, fill it with a blaze, and then in order to make brass, we need that heated blaze burner with a basin and a mixer to mix some copper and zinc together to make the brass that we need for this. So let's head in and see where we get placed. Okay. Well, at least we're not too exposed to the elements, so that's good. But we are going to need to find a nether fortress so that we can actually get our blaze burner. I did bring a shield with me this time, so hopefully I don't get attacked by too many things. And if we have a quick look on the map, I'm not noticing any obvious fortresses at the moment. It looks like there's a kind of bastion down here. I think we're just going to have to go for a little bit of a search. Although what I should actually do is place a waypoint here, just so I know how to get back to it and not get lost. Okay, about 800 blocks later. Well, it's a payback from when I found one instantly last time. But the Nether Fortress is definitely through here. I can hear some nether skeletons and stuff, which is a little bit scary. I guess I can try and break. Oh, yep, there they are. Right in front of me. Luckily for me, they don't have any bows, so I guess I'll just hit them until they die. Hey, I've made it down. There's still another skeleton over there, but there is a blaze that I might be able to chase here. Oh god, there's two of them. Let's try and not get hit by these guys, preferably. Okay, I didn't. We're gonna quickly go up to this blaze and yoink! Grabbed him. I think I'm gonna leave for now as I don't have much confidence in myself in surviving the fortress. We'll have to come back later and grab the spawner at some other point. But let's make it back home, I think. Okay, I have made it back to the portal without dying. Honestly, kind of a miracle, I won't lie. Also, a certain piglin has come through with a backpack, but I'm not going to touch you because you seem extremely strong. But we certainly got a few piglins hanging around here now, which is no idea actually. I've also noticed that my villager is gone. I assume a zombie got him at some point, and probably should have thought about that. I have to get a replacement at some point. But anyway, now that we've got our blaze burner, we can actually set up a proper system to start cooking some of this brass. I think I'm just going to place it over here. Help us some jungle logs to actually put some lava and stuff into it. And I also need to cook up some zinc for us. Mostly so we can get some nuggets from those and make some andesite alloy and then use to make a basin to sit on top of that. Of course, we need to make ourselves a mixer, which we're going to need some more iron plates for. There we go. Place that obviously above our basin. We do need to cook some copper as well, so we'll get that going too. And then if we throw in some of our copper and zinc into there. Now I don't know if this is actually going to be fast enough for this. Oh, it is. Okay, cool. So we're now mixing some of our zinc and copper together to make brass. There we go. And that gives us 12 brass from our 6 zinc and 6 copper. Really hard to say. Now that I've got my brass, I want to make a brass hand. So let's flatten some more of this brass into plates. And now that we have our brass hand, we can make ourselves a deployer, which does need actually some polished red quartz, rose quartz rather, which is redstone and some quartz. And luckily for me, when I was in the nether, I did go and grab some of that. But I do also need to make myself some sandpaper. We'll come down to our little farm, which I have been harvesting every now and then, but I'm going to grab some of our sugar cane to make some paper with, and grab some sand as well, of course, to make our sandpaper. And if I hold this in my other hand, I can then start sandpapering all these different rose quartzes into our polish variant. And then with the help of the iron sheet, we can make our electron tube. And then finally, our actual deployer. We'll be using this deployer on our automated miner. And for this miner, we're going to need a minecart, part assembler, furnace to go inside the minecart, and some rails for it to run along. And if we actually come out here, we can actually start prepping this up a little bit. So we'll place a bit of track down, a cart assembler, and a furnace, as well as a lever that's on, because I believe once I place down some cobblestone, that will then become part of the minecart contraption, as you can see it being lifted up ever so slightly. But let's remove this, and I'm going to mostly make this out of andesite casing, and we're going to need to place down our track with the help of our deployer, making sure to face it the right direction. And actually, now that we have some brass, we can make ourselves our wrench, which is actually golden sheets. For some reason I always thought it was brass. But anyway, I do have some gold around somewhere. We can make our golden plates. and then our wrench. And the nice thing about this wrench is that it allows us to have a little bit more control over our stuff. So for example, I initially placed this down the wrong way. And if I use my wrench on the side, it flips it back around for us. Now, before I continue this, I think I should probably sleep. It's getting a little bit dark. I need to make 2 more things with this, and I want to make a bunch of drills. I'm going to put these right at the front, of course, and I'm going to offset them a little bit. I have a decent 4x4 size drill. I'm then going to actually need a mechanical plow, which I'm going to place behind so that any kind of rail track that's placed down can be picked back up again. We're going to need some storage, so I'm going to place this at the back here with just a simple barrel. I do actually need to make another deployer, and this deployer is actually going to be a little bit closer to the ground. And the reason for that is I want to place cobblestone into this one's filter and rail into this one. And essentially the point is this one's going to place blocks ahead of the track so that the machine doesn't fall down into any caves or whatever. And then obviously the one behind it will place down the track on top of the cobblestone. And that's pretty much the gist of it. Now we just got to glue it all together. And luckily for me, I managed to find some slime balls when I was searching the caves, because Supplementaries has those urns and one of those urns dropped them, so very convenient. And to make our glue, we're going to need an iron sheet and an iron nugget, which we can just make real quick. And there we go. There's our super glue. And we can start attaching all the different parts to this to make sure it all stays together as one contraption. And so now if I just place some cobblestone down in front, place a little bit of track in advance, put our minecart in. Although it looks like I've accidentally glued some of the grass there, so let me fix that real quick. There we go. Then if I give our furnace a little bit of coal, it's going to start moving forwards. And there we go. It's now kind of doing its own thing by itself. And we can pick up that contraption using our wrench. Now it's sitting inside of our inventory. Very convenient. So let me actually pick all the rest of this up. We can actually go and get some more andesite from our mine because I am running a little bit low. So I've come down to about level 40, and obviously I am going to have to dig in a little bit of a gap here so we can actually place this down. But we can place some track down, put our minecart contraption down as well, give it a little bit of a push and some coal, and quickly mine this before it gets stuck. A little mistake there, that's fine, we'll just push it a little bit. And there you go, it's now mining away all by itself. And that should slowly start filling this up with our andesite and whatnot, including some cobblestone, which you can obviously then place down below it if there's any gaps. And yeah, this is the general gist of how these little miners work. You'll have to ignore it looking a bit dark at the moment, that's just a side effect of the shaders, I think. But I'm just going to let this run a little bit while we get some more andesite. And there we go, I brought my drill back, and obviously we still have a bunch of andesite and such still in here. But I was able to make another 25 drills. And it's not to add to our minecart contraption over here, but to actually help us build our mineshaft a little bit more. And we're going to head back over there again. And I actually made myself a new boat so I can head down the water quicker than just running over there. But I made myself a little rope pulley as well, which is pretty simple. It was only some wool and some other crate stuff. But if we start placing down some drills here, we've got a nice 5x5 set of drills, so we can go all the way down to the bottom of the world. We can do that with the help of a rope pulley. I'm going to throw down a water wheel behind it. Once I actually glue this all together, place down our water, although that's not quite how I wanted it to go. There we go. Now this is going to be perhaps a little bit slow. I do want to actually block the water from going down there. But perhaps we can speed this up a little bit. And there we go, with a bunch of different gears going slowly faster using a mixture of our small to big to small to big. It's now going somewhat faster. We're certainly quicker than before, so we'll just wait for this to get all the way down to the bottom and figure out where we're going to go from there. Okay, there we go. I brought it all the way back up, and I also remembered to actually place some chests on this thing so that we can actually pick up all the stuff that we're drilling. But now if we look down here, we can see it goes pretty much all the way to the bottom. Not quite bedrock, but low enough that we get towards that lava cave. And I did also make a kind of spiral staircase going all the way around it as well, just to get down there easier. Now we are going to need to bring a bunch of the stuff back, and my storage is already pretty full. So it might take a few goes, but that's okay. But what I can do for now is pick up all the drills so that we can get a better view down. And then we'll figure out exactly what this elevator lift is going to look like. Okay, there we go. I've moved all my stuff back to the town and brought back my stone cutter with me because we're going to come up with a bit of an elevator design. And to begin with, I think I'm just going to have a base of spruce stairs. Obviously, not be able to actually see the lip on it, but that's okay. I think that's more important for when it's going by. And then I want to have some trapdoors in the middle. And thanks to a mod I've got, it means that I can change any of even wooden stuff inside of a stone cutter into some of the chipped variants. I'm going to grab some barred spruce trapdoors. I'm going to need to make a couple more of those. There we go. Then we're going to more or less just bring up the sides. And then I think I do want to use a bunch of shelves for this. So we're going to need an absolute ton of more stripped spruce logs. And craft those into just a bunch of shelves so that I can place them on the inside here a little bit at the top and some on the bottom as well. Now, some of these are going to be effectively sticking out of the elevator. That's not a massive issue when it comes to create because it'll be a contraption. For the roof part, I think I'm actually going to remove some of these shelves, replace them with some stairs to connect up to a center point. I'm going to place down a lantern. And I think that's the general gist that I want for the actual cab of this thing. I do need to make sure that everything is glued together. We still have the old glue from the drills, which is rather convenient. And then we just need to make sure everything else is glued together as well. And that should be more or less everything by the looks of it. And now we need to actually make the mechanism work. So I need to make a elevator pulley, which needs some dried kelp, which I did go and grab some earlier to make a dry kelp block, and then a brass casing and an iron sheet. So let's head up to the top here and set up our elevator pulley. And I think I'll probably actually bring the power over here to add a little small water wheel. There we go, there's a little bit of power. Then if I right click onto this, of course, we need some redstone contacts to be actually attached to our elevator here. So I'm going to need about 3 of these. We'll just have to make 2 sets of it. Probably come in behind here, place one there, and one in the opposite direction. I think that noise, if you guys even heard it, might have been the indication that it could work now. There we go. Sorry for that lag spike. So that now makes it a proper elevator. Now, of course, it can't go anywhere. And actually, I'm suddenly realizing that that's making a redstone signal. Okay, I more or less actually fixed that by just moving the redstone contacts to the edges here underneath so it doesn't mess with the trapdoors. I do need to add some contraption controls. But firstly, I need to actually go down to the bottom and place another redstone contact to be the bottom floor. And actually, while we're on our way down, I can probably place one here as well to act as our floor for our andesite, and then one all the way down here on the bottom floor. Now, if we head back up again, and we get on our elevator here and say go down to -2, this is moving incredibly slowly. So actually, let's go back up and speed this elevator up first. Kind of forgot that the default water wheel speed is rather slow. Eventually we'll get access to some better speeds using a speed controller, but this is our way of doing it for now. Okay, there we go. I even placed in a bigger water wheel to get some extra speed. So now hopefully when we go down to the next level, it's definitely a lot faster. So obviously this brings us down to our andesite level. I'll have to kind of mine around the area a little bit to kind of make the entrance to this a bit more open than it currently is. But we can then also go down all the way to the bottom, just like so. And obviously this gives us access to our big old lava area. So I'm glad that this is all working rather nicely. Again, this could do with probably being sped up even more than it currently is, but it's pretty good for a first run. Now, I would like some way of being able to actually cool the elevator up here. So we're going to add a little bit of a spruce log button here with a redstone link behind it. And we can set this to andesite and dirt. And set another redstone link behind our elevator contact here with the same signal. So let's say I tell this to go down to -1. So it goes all the way down there, stops, and then I press this button and I make sure that this receives a signal. Forgot about that part. But if I press this button, it will now come up to this level. There we go. And I just need to do that on the other 2 floors as well. And with the buttons installed, I now would like to decorate this place a little bit more, and we're probably actually going to do outside first. I do want some kind of exterior for this building, and I do want to make it seem like this is kind of an active mining place. A mine that serves our actual village area. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is probably clear out all these trees because they're blocking their way to the river. And there we go, a bunch of trees have now been removed from the area and we get a much better view of where our mine shaft is. Now annoyingly it is raining and it's about to turn night time, so we'll probably skip the night here. Okay, there we go, much better. The rain has obviously stopped. And I think the first thing we're going to do is help clear up this area a little bit. I think I do want to remove a bunch of this dirt so we can actually place down our structure. And that gives us a bit of a flatter area to actually build this in front of. And before this, I did go ahead and grab a ton of different resources I'm going to actually need for this building. So we've got a full backpack worth of it. And this backpack is even upgraded a little. I added a crafting upgrade so we can have our crafting grid inside our backpack and a stack upgrade tier 1. Which allows us to have stacks of up to 128. And I also upgraded to a gold backpack from an iron one as well to give us some more slots. But anyway, first thing I'm going to do is start working on the frame of this thing. We're going to start with probably just some spruce logs and kind of curving that around to the other side. And essentially the point of this is that I think I want to have some kind of like little storage areas in each of these compartments. So we'll have 3 of those. And then here I do want the remnants of like an old mine shaft that's now being closed up. So I think I'm going to do that with the help of some oak logs to kind of differentiate it from the rest of the structure. We can add some extra features to the front of this using some fences, some shelves, and some buttons. And then moved on to the little storage areas using a mixture of our granite types, as well as some trims and trapdoors to act as the entrance to it. And then moved on to the entrance of our kind of collapsed mine, continuing to use some of our oak logs, as well as some cobblestone and some trapdoors to act as the door itself, as well as some of the stone that's kind of piling out. Then to kind of go in front of our collapsed mine, I'm going to place down a bunch of signs here. Well, we're going to actually use this mod that allows us to have some bigger text, but we can essentially do no entry, like so. In fact, actually, we can add a space at the end of this one, so it's all nice one word. And then on this other sign here, I'm just going to add collapsed mine to kind of instruct anybody, you know, who's over here to probably not go this way. And I think that adds a little bit of lore to this little mine shaft as well. Now we're going to move on to the second floor using a mixture of our deep slate stairs to go up towards our spruce windows that we used back in the main village, as well as using some spruce stairs and trapdoors to add a little bit of arch above. And I made sure to wrap that all the way around to above the old mine shaft as well. And there we go. I think that's looking rather nice so far. I did add a little chimney up here. Let's go into free cam a little bit, using some granite and some flower pots to sit on top to look like where the smoke comes out. Then I have deliberately left a little bit of a hole here because I do want to add a little crane on the top to kind of lean over in front of the building here, because of course this is a mine and it would help to be able to move stuff around, particularly heavy stuff. So let's start building this up a little bit. This doesn't need to be too large, but at least big enough to be quite obvious above the mines. And we'll have a little bit of a lip on top here, as well as some spruce slabs coming out the side, because it's going to be the bottom of our crane. That's the general base of the crane done, and yes, I did skip ahead a little bit because I kept on falling. But I would like to still add onto our crane here with something coming down. Throw down our grindstone, although preferably in the other orientation. Have some chains coming down from it. And then we can have a nice stack of cobblestone, place some shelves around it, and add some trapdoors at the bottom of it as well. Of course, the rain starts as soon as I'm done building, but overall I'm pretty happy with how this looks. I think the last thing I want to do probably is add a bunch of mud on the ground, specifically packed mud, and perhaps fill in some of these storage areas with some different rocks. But I'm going to need to go find a mangrove forest, so I need to head back home and grab my compass, as we can now use our nature's compass to go actually find the mangrove forest. And let's see how far away. Mangrove swamp is 1,360 blocks that way. So time to head there, grab some of our mangrove wood that I forgot to get before, and of course a bunch of mud too, which I can mix with some wheat to make some packed mud. Here we go, we have arrived at a mangrove swamp. So now make use of our saw here to cut these down, and luckily I believe these do work with mangrove roots, or perhaps not. We may have to go directly to the source. And actually, let's sleep real quick as it's getting pretty darn dark. We'll see if this works this time. It should do, as it's wood. Yep, there we go. That was kind of loud. Make sure I turn that down in editing. And that got us quite a bit of mangrove wood, some roots, and plenty of popules as well. And I think I'll cut down maybe 1 or 2 more, just so we have extra. And I'm going to start digging up all of the mud that's underneath us. Okay, there we go. I am back. I managed to get myself a bunch of packed mud thanks to a bunch of wheat that I had stored. And I also grabbed some coarse dirt while I was out too. And also made a mech trowel. And that was super easy to make. It was just a stick, an iron block, and an iron ingot. And basically the nice thing about this is that we can use it to just replace the ground as it is. Making sure I don't add any torches in my inventory, but I can then just more or less replace the entire ground like this. Very convenient. But I went ahead and covered the rest of the hill down to the river, made sure to place some spruce slabs in between each layer, put some things down like fences, some barrels and some crates for extra decoration, random piles of andesite stone around to kind of see like it's been left over, and a couple more piles of rocks in the storage. But there we go, I think this place is more or less done. We obviously have filled all our little storage areas now, made sure to fill in the floor and stuff. Apparently I missed a spot. And I'm pretty happy about it overall. I think the one thing I'd like to do is actually add a path from here going all the way back to our initial town. And that's probably going to take a little bit, so I'm going to do that another day. Especially as we have another heat wave and I'm a little bit too hot right now. But at least I got to see the eclipse today, which was also quite cool. Here in the UK, had a 92% coverage, and I had the right glasses for it so I could actually see it. So that was good. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you liked today's build, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.